Hello. Welcome to
Hello,
episode
hello.
20 of Between Two Beans.
What?
20.
Oh my gosh, 20 of these things.
We did.
Wow. That's
Typically,
crazy.
I know, typically that'd be like a big milestone. So we have to make it super special with like a special
And
topic or, something.
we kind of did because we have a special topic. Yeah.
Yeah. There should be like fireworks and stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So today we're going to talk about Bixby.
Bixby.
We hit all the other ones. Well, most of the other ones, and today we're gonna hit Bixby. And yeah,
I just wanted to comment before you go too in depth.
Yep.
I looked up the Microsoft version,
Cortana.
Yep. And you cannot build a single thing because it's gone.
It's done.
It's done.
Yep.
So I just wanted to throw that out there. We won't be doing another one of these episodes. This is the last episode on Bixby.
Gotcha.
Take it away.
Gotcha. Yeah, no worries. I'll just touch upon Cortana real quick because I did do a little research into that one. And there was a smart speaker that was like a Harman like brand name smart speaker that was specifically with Cortana only. And they ended up even refunding people because when they bought it, because it just done, which it's kind of frustrating because Cortana was off of a Halo, which was like the Xbox Microsoft character type of thing. So it had like that built-in personality. It had the quips. It had the power of Microsoft behind it, right?
Yeah.
And it just tanked. I don't know. I mean, look at this. How many Windows PCs are out there, right? And it was on every single one of them built in.
Yep.
And it just didn't get utilized, which is what it is.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about another lesser known, and I think it's safe to say that it's pretty lesser known because it is almost exclusive to I was going to say Android phones, but I think Samsung as well. So Samsung's kind of baby.
Samsung.
But yeah. And it's kind of been exclusive to Samsung since 2017. And it's kind of their version of a voice assistant. And I'm going to really focus heavy on the assistant part of it. So yes, there's voice tech and there are different applications that we can do with it, everything under the sun. But I really felt like, and we'll definitely get into this, but I really felt like Bixby had the most, or maybe top tier assistant to it, just for the things that you can do. So there's different ways to start it, and they're on your phone. There used to be a dedicated Bixby button, and from what I read, a lot of people did not like that. They would pick up their phone, accidentally hit it, and originally you couldn't change it. Like you couldn't remap that key to be like the camera or the flashlight or torch or whatever. It was straight Bixby, and a lot of people didn't like that, and it left a kind of a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And I think maybe that could have contributed to its, I want to say, lack of adoption, maybe. Because I looked at some numbers, pulled up some things, and it definitely has the lowest out of the big four, what we're going to call the big four: Alexa, Google Assistant, Siri, and Bixby. It's definitely the lowest adoption rate. Which I don't know. Let's get into it. We have this Spilling the Beans article, and usually our Spilling the Beans are very recent. Like we try and pick them from like the last week or the past few days.
It was hard for this one.
You're right. For this one comes from Insider Tech by Dave Johnson on April 9th, 2021. And it goes into a little bit of a history about it. And it starts to talk about that it's kind of a Siri, Google Assistant. Didn't really mention Alexa in this article, but competitor. And I think what they were going for were phone based.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't be a Alexa competitor because it's
Mhm.
and more recently, Alexa's integrated into phones, but
Mhm.
uh, not like Siri and Google. But
Right, right. I feel like
continue on.
there's that. I feel like there's that little extra step on mobile devices for
Mm-hmm.
Alexa.
Yeah.
So there is that
Yep.
little gatekeeping thing. But this is where we get into some of the. Well, I'll just talk about this article a little bit. But we talked about, or it talks about 4 Bixby modes, and there was Bixby Home, Bixby Voice, Type to Bixby, and then Bixby Vision. And it's going to get to the point for me where I say Bixby and it's like forcing those words out. It doesn't really flow like Hey Google or Siri. I really have to force myself to say Bixby. And I think that's, maybe it's just me, but it's a
I
little
didn't. I
more
didn't have a problem
forceful.
with it.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
it was different for me, but
Hmm.
I didn't think it flowed off the tongue. I think for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
yeah,
All
it
right.
might be just one of those things that is different for everyone.
True. True. So Bixby Home, and this is kind of neat, and this is where it gets into the assistant part of it, is it's kind of a landing page that has just things like news or stocks, weather. Um, there were a few other things that it had, like tips and how to use Bixby, those types of things. And it was more of just kind of a holding screen in a way. Now you could customize it for what you needed, but it was very kind of limited. Almost like a start screen in some of the Windows menus. There was Bixby Voice, and it was, the article said it's the most common way that you'll interact with Bixby, and that's absolutely true. It's just the nature of it. There was Type to Bixby, which is just voice dictation, which I found to be fairly good, pretty accurate. And then there was Bixby Vision, which uses your camera to kind of scan items or do like your searching, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I could point it at a barcode and it would try and read the barcode. I could point it at a water bottle and it would read the water bottle and
I
pull up
did
stuff.
translation. It was kind of neat.
Yeah.
So you can't really see that, but there's words not in English on this page.
Yeah.
And it took a bit to do it all,
Hmm.
but then it was like an AR page, augmented reality page with the
Okay.
English words over the top of the Spanish words or whatever words that was.
I gotcha.
So I thought that was neat.
Yeah. Yeah. I did find it interesting that Bixby had a lot of options to it. And this article on for our spilling the beans kind of goes into it too, and that there were single press to open, double
Mm-hmm.
press had another command. Um, there were different, like you could do the, I think it was high Bixby is what it was,
Yep. Yep.
and different things. So there were a lot of commands like that, and we'll get into it a little bit more later. But there were a lot of routines, and I feel like that's where it shines in some of the, if you're familiar with if this then that stuff, or
Mm-hmm.
however IFFT T, there's 2 T's in that, but I think that's where it really shone the most and where a lot of the value came into it. But it was also very good in that you could navigate through settings. So
Mm-hmm.
even though I could say, "Hey Google," well, gotta watch my phone. I could say, "Hey Google, turn on the flashlight," and it could do that.
Yep.
I feel like this was more native or more built in
Yeah.
using Bixby, just because
Exactly.
Samsung and Bixby are right there together. So I think that's an advantage to it, is that it felt very very natural.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did
before
you
we
try
jump in,
taking a picture?
I did.
I
And
thought that was pretty
it was
neat. It
kind of
actually
nice.
took a picture,
Yep.
unlike Siri, which had
Right.
just opened up the camera. It
Yep.
didn't take a picture.
Yep.
So,
And the other thing too was if you said selfie versus picture, there was a difference. So
okay.
selfie, you gotta be ready, but always ready. But yeah, there's a difference there. So there was some nuances to it.
Cool.
Yeah. So before we jump into any of the more fine-tuned details and some of the tips and tricks that we came up with or found, did you have anything else high level that you wanted to bring up about it? Use cases or anything?
Um,
I mean, is it something that you use?
it isn't, but I did find it nice, I guess, to use on my phone, and
Okay.
it was easy to use.
So you mean like convenient
Yeah.
or
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Yeah, convenient. It wasn't hard to figure out how to use it,
Hmm.
or like what you could ask and get a response. I mean, I
Yes.
know how to
Yes.
use it, but
Yes. Yeah.
you know,
So we didn't plan this out at all, but you're kind of reading my mind a little bit because the word I was going to use was intuitive.
yeah,
So if I wanted to, I could say, silence notifications,
yeah,
and it would just take all my volume controls. You know how Android has media volume, notification volume, system volume. It'll just drop those. So,
nice,
um, and that's where you really get into that fine-tuned, ingrained settings
yeah,
manipulation that I kind of like for this. But yeah, it was kind of neat. So
cool,
I think we'll kind of pause a little bit. I looked and looked for a Bean-boozeled, and I wanted to find something high quality. I wanted to find something that matched our personalities a little bit, um, that functioned well, that really utilized both screen and voice for this
okay,
platform. And I didn't find anything that checked all the boxes to my satisfaction. So I think we need to maybe take another week and look at it, and we'll come back to it. Or if anyone has any recommendations or thoughts,
yes.
by
I
all
was just
means
gonna
send
say
them
that.
send them our way because um, this is a whole side tangent that I'm going to go on very quickly. Is that I am not happy with the Alexa skill store, and if I click into a trivia skill, I'm getting radio stations and I'm getting weather reports. It just I don't know if somebody tinkered with something or if they're not checking the tags that the meta tags behind the scenes. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I was not happy with what I was coming up with because I just wanted
Hmm.
to go into a general um, genre and then just start seeing what was there,
Yeah.
filtering a little bit. But what I had to do was just click through page after page after page. And
Hmm.
some of the descriptions were so generic, so basic that
Yeah.
I know I'm getting on my soapbox again, but they're so generic and basic that I questioned whether I wanted to take the time to enable the skill to test it out to be disappointed. If
Uh,
your description wasn't that great, I kind of passed you up. So that's a whole
yeah.
other thing. But short and sweet. I did not find something that I liked enough to present it on the stream today. So
And I didn't even look. I
yeah.
was just
Well, that's
I was
my
busy
job.
with this other Bixby stuff, and
That's right. That's right. Well, let's get into it then.
okay.
Let's really do a deep dive into Bixby. So
Um, First, for all those who are interested in developing for Bixby, They have their own like studio, kind of like Google does. But I don't even know if you can make a voice in the Google developer console. But anyways,
Yeah.
you can go to this site and get all the information. Um, I I will do a little rundown. I cannot. Well, I can share my screen. I just can't share the I can't share the audio, so that's fine. We don't need
Okay.
audio on this.
No, that would be fine. You're talking about BixbyDevelopers.com, and it's available for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux.
And
So I
Linux.
kind of thought that was neat that it was available for all three.
Yeah, for sure. And I love this site. This is very easy to figure out.
Hmm.
Uh, Getting started right here, and then you just follow the steps. Otherwise, you can, if you don't want to do the getting started, there's sample capsules. That's what they're called. Little like skills or actions. They're called capsules.
Right. Right.
So you can go into here. There's walkthroughs. There's templates. Oh, excuse me. There's prototypes, videos, and just samples of code and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And there is just tons of information here, easy to get to. I actually just looked at this fax capsule,
Uh-huh.
and I made one, but I couldn't figure. I didn't have that much time to figure it out. So, and I also
Right.
didn't want to at the same time.
Yeah.
But I'll open it up this so everyone can see it.
Mhm.
So it's and the application seems pretty easy to figure out as well. It's just like a code editor.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
Yeah. There was a little bit of, I don't want to say plug and play to it, but it looked similar to like VS Code that
Yep.
most people are familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
And they also had on that Bixby developers site, they had a few walkthroughs. So kind of like Cake Time for the Alexa world, there were walkthroughs that were very similar for the Bixby stuff. I know they had a few official ones, but I didn't dig too deep into anyone's GitHub or anything like that, like I did before with Alexa stuff.
Yeah, I didn't go too far either.
Mhm.
But so you have like, this is the where the facts would go. But I didn't like that. I think you have to have a text and then a the fact. But I
Yeah,
couldn't,
yeah,
like I said, I didn't get into it too much.
right.
And this is kind of what handles getting the content,
Hmm.
as the wording says so. But then you get down into uh, the code of uh, Bixby. I guess it's
Yeah,
Bixby code.
yeah,
Um,
almost
it
kind of custom. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks somewhat like Python and a little bit of YAML
Yes. Yeah. I was
type.
thinking YAML. YAML looked familiar to me, and that's what I was kind of thinking too. Yeah.
Because we have like specific indentation, but I don't know if that actually matters. But I do see some, some curly braces here.
Right. Right.
So it might be just more like JSON. I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't see anything about white space, but I think indentation mattered.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think that was the distinction. Yeah. So, but I mean, it's kind of neat. I don't know. Did you come across like a store or anything for it? Like not like
You
a
know what?
skill store or a
No.
actions place, something like that. I didn't, because I was so ingrained in, or not ingrained, I keep saying that. I was so focused on the assistant part of it, where I could change my settings, I could send my location via text, or I could dim the screen, I could, lock screen widgets, whatever. I didn't really get into, and then routines. That's a whole thing that I think Bixby does very well. Um, that was tied to like locations and things. I mean, we'll kind of segue into it, but I didn't come across anything, but I didn't look too hard either.
So there is a marketplace.
Okay.
It looks like it's just on the phone.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see. Hey, Bixby. Open Bixby Marketplace. So, yep, it opened up a marketplace.
Okay.
Right off the bat, there's the Dino Joker, America Dissected podcast, a wiki,
Okay.
generator, yoga. So a decent amount of stuff. iHeartRadio,
There's no like
Gmail.
5-minute workout thing again, is there? I still haven't touched that skill. After our bad memories there, but yeah. So it's okay. It has one. Do you see anything that you can monetize? Like, are there any paid Bixby capsules? Because
That I do not know.
I honestly haven't heard of that. And I'm not sure how that would work either, if you're going through, like, if it's just for the phone,
Mm-hmm.
and how the Play Store, like the Google Play Store, I'm sure Google wants its cut of everything. I'm not sure how that would work if there was a
Well,
I
here's
guess
the
it's its
thing.
own separate thing, though. Yeah.
One thing I noticed about it is you say the opening thing word, and then you say what you're trying to do. It does the thing, and then it shuts down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's not normal for like a lot of other devices. I know. I think Siri does the same thing, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the Google whatever assistant
Mhm.
and I keep on setting mine off.
Yeah.
Uh, they'll stay open if you're trying to see if you're still talking to it after it says the thing, it'll
Right.
say, is there
Right.
anything else, or
Yep.
whatever.
Or a follow up response. Yeah.
Not always, but
Yep.
but sometimes it'll stay open to see if there's anything else you're trying to do.
Mhm.
So and I don't know if that's the same thing, if you can program it to not do that, like if it was for a game,
Right. Right. I'm trying
I'm
to
guessing
think.
you could. It makes sense that you could, but it just,
Yeah.
I
Because
don't know.
one of the other playful features of Bixby was that it had some sass to it. If you say something about Siri to Bixby,
Oh yes.
there were some quips and some phrases.
Yep.
There was also like a rap that it had that I listened to.
Nice.
Those types of things. So that's always neat, is that it's like relevant
Yep.
or contextual or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But another area where this really shined is that I could turn off Wi-Fi. It was almost like geo-fenced. So if I left like my house, it would turn off my Wi-Fi. Or due to the routines that Bixby has, I could turn off like my lights using, like, it was limited in what I could do, but you could turn off lights if you were outside of your house or whatever. Things like a timer, similar to what Alexa can do, as
Yeah.
far as like at sunset, turn lights on. That was part of a routine as well. Provide news stories, stuff like that. So the routines part of it, I thought was pretty good. Same thing, like you could even set, I know do not disturb is a pretty popular feature for some people, but you could even set it to at 8 a.m. when I start my work day, set my phone to do not disturb. You know, it would be a routine that it would do. Almost redundant with some of the settings, but that's where that assistant part that really caught me ties into it.
Nice.
I will say that I wasn't as impressed with the voice, like the Bixby voice. I feel like it was more robotic, monotone. Excuse me.
It was more like than like some of the other ones.
Yeah. I didn't notice like the inflection. Like sometimes when you ask a question, your voice goes up at the end a little bit. I didn't notice a lot of that.
Gotcha.
I didn't notice a lot of pitch changes on certain things that were just very routine. Well, routine's the wrong word, but very run of the mill, so to speak. The turn on my flashlight, the turn my volume down, where they were just like a short affirmative type of phrase. Like it was just very, and that was it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any other Bixby voices. I didn't look into that.
Check either.
Yeah, I didn't look into that. I just had that thought right now, as far as, because what we talked about last week with some of the other voice options that are out there for the other assistants. But yeah, I mean, I think Bixby's okay. I don't have anything really bad to say about it. I feel like it's really focused on the mobile aspect because of the phone. I feel like it integrates well with the settings.
Yeah.
It does that pretty well. Social media, I did find an article where you could say something along the lines of post going live on Twitch in 20 minutes to Twitter, and then it would post that for you
in 20 minutes on Twitter.
Well, I don't know,
or you
like,
post it right away.
Yeah, I would post it right away,
Okay.
but I'm going live in 20 minutes. Maybe I'd have to say in 20 minutes, post that I'm going live in 20 minutes or whatever. Inception there.
Yeah.
But the other thing too with it was you would watch your screens move and shift. Did you notice that as well?
Yes.
Like it was almost like when I say turn on my flashlight, it would like have an invisible hand that would scroll down, push the flashlight button, and then go back to where it was, you know? So that was a little interesting too. It wasn't just kind of a behind the scenes thing. It actually kind of took over your phone. But before we jump into the next part, let's extrapolate here. And would this be something you would use on your computer? Would this be something that you would use on I can't see myself using it as a, like, like a dot that I have laying around,
Mm-hmm.
I can't see how I would use Bixby in that situation
Yeah.
as I could with Google or Alexa. Do you know what I mean? What I'm kind of
Yeah,
getting at?
I can't think of that.
I just can't
Yeah,
think
I
of
couldn't think
use
of it.
cases.
Right.
Um, let me say it this way: I can't think of a use case strong enough that would pull me into the Bixby Samsung ecosystem away from my other options.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably how it would be. Because sure, I could probably get away with maybe some lights or a hub or something like that. But again, it's assistant. I mean, yeah, set a reminder, set a timer for 20 minutes, those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but the game aspect, the
Yeah.
social aspect, you don't really get that with Bixby in the same way you do as the others. So I can't see it pulling me away.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even if I had experienced Bixby first, I still would I would still go to the other ecosystems like the Google or the Alexa, the Amazon world.
Yeah.
I just for the feature set and everything.
I would agree with you there. I actually an update from our Google podcast and stream
Mm-hmm.
that I tried out Google Auto. I think it's called it. Or no,
Android Auto.
Android,
Okay.
Android
Yeah.
Auto.
Yep.
And I tried it on a trip I had last
Nice.
weekend. I was all by myself, so it was kind of nice to try something out. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I loved it because it was like almost hands free. Um, I actually didn't even try to see if it was hands free.
Yeah.
I just saw the button to the speaker button, so I pushed the
Yep.
speaker button. I said, "Play music on this,"
Mm-hmm.
or play my audiobook. That kind of stuff. And then
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, call my friend." Blah blah blah, and they called blah blah blah, and
Yep.
I was like, "Where do you live again?" And they're like, "Tell me where they lived." I was like, "Okay, got it." And as soon as I hung up, I was like, I pushed the button again, and I said, "Directions to blah blah blah," or
Exactly.
find
Exactly.
find blah blah blah, the address to his house, and it brought the map right up and direction. I was like, "Go." And
Yeah.
it was so easy. I loved it. It was beautiful.
Yep.
So thumbs up for Android Auto for me.
Mm-hmm.
Not to distract from Bixby, but I just wanted to update that and give my experience
Right.
on that.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
um,
I've had the same experience, the same exact thing. It's almost like an extension of your phone, just
mhm,
right there, you know.
mhm,
Um, really, really good. It has all the weather and time and general stuff too. And you can
yep,
see like your how many bars of service that you have and everything, all right there.
mhm.
But to tie that into Bixby, I don't think there's a Bixby Auto out there,
No,
you
no.
know. So
I
I
just looked. It's just on the phones.
yeah.
There's not even a hub or not a hub, a speaker.
Okay,
They
right.
don't. Samsung doesn't have a speaker. It's
Hmm. Which is
just the phones.
yeah, yeah, which is interesting too because they make some pretty good headphones, or like
They make
the
everything.
earbuds and everything like that. Yeah, like you would think they'd
I mean, if
Or
A is, or I guess Amazon is
Mhm.
making A enabled washing machines,
Yep.
why couldn't
Yeah.
Samsung make
Yeah.
Bixby enabled washing machines
Exactly.
or
They make
their
refrigerators, don't they?
refrigerators,
Yep.
their
TVs,
microwaves, yeah,
everything.
TVs,
Yeah.
everything? I don't
Yeah.
get it. Why wouldn't they? There's such a big market for it, um,
Mhm.
to integrate their own smart home assistant.
Yeah. I mean, to have like
Um,
an Internet of Things for Bixby, if
yeah,
you're,
exactly. You have the routines,
yeah,
so I mean it's a no-brainer to me.
yeah,
So
and
I don't
as
get it.
fine tuned as you can do these routines or chain routines together, it would be nothing to simply do. I'm gonna embarrass myself here. Let's say I'm doing white clothes and in my washing machine, and those would be like warm water for medium wash power. Yeah, my wife does a lot of the laundry in the
I
house.
can tell. I
Is that a
mean,
thing? Wash power? I don't know. So like you could easily like have that set up with your
mhm,
smart washer as, hey, do a medium load of white laundry, and it would have those settings
yeah,
tied into that routine and just
yep,
good.
exactly.
Um, refrigerator, like I I thought they had Samsung makes that refrigerator that you like knock on and it like shows you stuff or
What's in
something.
it?
Yeah.
Or you
Is
can
that a
look on
thing?
it on your phone. So it'd be like, "Hey Bixby, do I have any uh relish in my fridge?"
We are like
And
random. Yeah.
uh uh and I could not think of anything in my fridge, I guess. But and then it could like, maybe see what's in your fridge. I don't know.
Right.
I'm just
Right.
shooting things out, but
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the potential's there. Um,
mhm.
I mean, Samsung's got money to throw around. I'm sure they
Oh
could
yeah.
come up with that. I mean, they've got some smart people. I
Uh-huh.
mean, they don't have us yet, but I mean,
Right.
well, I mean that's just time. But yeah, I mean, I think I so I don't see it. This is just being honest. I don't see it picking up traction though, um, because I have the Samsung. What is this? The 22 Ultra thing, um, and it doesn't have a Bixby button built into it. So I have to go into the settings, set it up, everything. And even when I set up my phone, um, it didn't really prompt me for setting up Bixby.
Really?
Yes, because I was looking for it because I knew of Bixby and everything.
I'm
There
pretty sure
was no
mine
like
did.
set it up later or anything like that.
I
So
don't know which one mine is. I think mine's a 21.
21.
I can't
Yeah,
tell.
I just got mine a couple of weeks ago, but
Okay.
yeah. Now I did get the Google Assistant prompts to set all that stuff up
Oh, that's
because
weird.
as soon as I set up like my Gmail and all that stuff, it wanted me to do that.
Maybe
Yeah.
like you were saying, they're starting to already, you
Phase it
know,
out.
phase it out. I don't
I
know.
don't know. Um, and even when we did this, we had the idea for Bixby. I had to go in and search for my settings for Bixby.
Hmm.
So it really wasn't front and center like I thought that it could be,
Yeah.
especially if Samsung really wanted to push it, they
Right.
could. They're I think it's safe to say, the biggest Android um, market share that they
Yeah.
have. I mean, they have some weight to throw around,
Hmm.
and especially even with like Google or whatever, especially as Android being open source and more open, blah blah blah. You could push that a little bit. So, um, I did notice that it wanted to open my Samsung browser too, instead of
Yeah.
like some of that. Even though like
Wasn't a
I
fan
had
of that.
default set. Yeah, that was different. I'm just thinking of all these random use cases that I had in the past week.
Mhm.
Just pieces and parts of
Although
things.
when I said where's Zimbabwe, it just brought up a map. I don't know why I think of these random places in the world,
Yeah.
but I do. And so yeah, it did the same thing as the Apple whatever Siri.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So
I did find it interesting that if you were having issues with Bixby picking up your voice or whatever, there was a
mhm.
slider that you could go from like the wake up thing. You could like change it from like low, medium, high
Oh, okay,
for like sensitivity
gotcha.
to it. Um,
That's
so
nice.
I did notice that because back to what I was saying about like I had to like force myself to say Bixby, Bixby, like so it didn't roll off my tongue as much as it could have or should have. So I ended up playing with some of those settings, but
Gotcha.
yeah. But here's something that's kind of telling too is that for every one of these other like in the series of that we've done with the Google Assistant, Alexa, Siri, etc., I've always found an article or here's a day in the life of how I use this voice assistant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't find anything like that for Bixby.
Mm.
It was very um there were some tips and tricks or lesser known features of type of things, but there was
Mm.
never like at 7 a.m. I wake up and because I set the Bixby timer and it walks me through a yoga capsule or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that really popped up for things like that, which I
Yeah.
think is another kind of telling point.
Yeah.
Um, Not a strike against it, but just that the adoption might not be there or the popularity isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. And here's something else. This is one of the other my last kind of points, I guess, is this an American thing? We're in the States, you and I.
Mm-hmm.
Is this popular outside of the States? Samsung, Korea, is it more popular? Is it utilized more? I don't know. Um,
I can tell you myself.
yeah, I mean, because Google being a U.S. company, Alexa being U.S., but I feel like Alexa really has a good global footprint um,
Mm-hmm.
for most of their features. There are things that other countries don't get for a little while, but um, I don't know how accessible Siri is outside of the U.S. either. But is is that an advantage that Bixby has? Is that because they are kind of Samsung is kind of outside that US fence, does that give them an advantage in some ways? I don't know. I would say that maybe because I keep wanting to say skills, but the capsules aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fix that first of all. Capsule. I don't know. That just doesn't. If I had a hard enough time saying Bixby, I can't even capsule whatever. But do you know what I'm saying? I mean, am I wrong? Maybe I am.
No, I could see um being a United being based in the United States not always being a good thing.
Mhm.
Um but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't have the
that's a tough one. That's
yeah.
I wish I had some of that external
Samsung,
perspective.
let us know what the answer is.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I'd love to know. I'd love to see numbers on it. I'm a big data guy. I'd love to know
Mm-hmm.
pros, cons, what you can pull out of that data. So
For sure.
But yeah, Bixby is what it is. I think it has its use cases. Like I said multiple times now, the assistant part of it worked well. Um, Automating things using routines, I it works. If I left my house, I could turn my Wi-Fi off. I really never do that, but I
Yeah.
could if I wanted. Um, Same thing with the geofencing thing. If I was kind of getting back on like my street, I could have it send a text message to my wife and say I'm on my street or I'm almost home or whatever. So some neat use cases.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think I'm not going to include Siri in this because I'm not 100% and whatever. But yeah, that sounded terrible. But I think it's doing what Google is doing or has the capability to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I think Google just has the mind share, the how easy it is just to say Google for everything,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then build on that ecosystem. So I
Right.
think that if Samsung wants to make this something feasible, profitable, I think they could.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think they have an uphill battle for it.
Yeah.
I mean, Bixby is not a uh, Bixby's not a reason to buy a Samsung phone.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
They have great cameras and all that stuff, right? But I don't see it being a reason to go out and buy a Samsung phone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, I don't even. So I am so wishy washy, but I don't have a desire to devote too much time to Bixby development. I think it's
Right.
interesting. Like I want to
Yeah.
see how it works. I want to push some
Yeah.
buttons. I want to like break something. But as soon as I do that, I'll be like, oh, okay. And then I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't see myself spending my limited free time developing for Bixby.
Yep.
And I think that's another telling thing, you know, um, because sometimes like if there's not a lot of population in a platform, like let's look at TikTok, right? When TikTok first came out and there's not a lot of people on there and everybody's like, so what? I got YouTube and I've got Vines and all that stuff. And then TikTok explodes and if you were one of the first ones in there or whatever, you're good to go, right? I don't think this is that case. You know what I mean? Just
Mm-hmm.
because there's not a lot of fish in the pond doesn't mean, I mean, maybe there's just not a lot of fish in the pond for a reason, in a way, you know?
Yeah.
Um, Thoughts,
Alrighty.
comments? I don't know if you had anything on that.
No, I don't have anything else.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, no
I
worries.
think we covered it pretty well, and
Yeah.
I might use it for some things, but
Hmm.
I probably will do like you did and put Google on my phone instead of Bixby.
Yeah. Yeah. I know Gold Zulu, our buddy old pal, he's done some work with Bixby in the past. I remember watching a few of his streams with it. So maybe next time we'll pick his brain on something too.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, let's jump into our bean of the week. We'll kind of round that out. End it on a high note.
Sounds good. You want me to go first?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So I actually unmute or not unmuted, un uh
Blurred?
I don't even know what it's called.
Unblurred?
Blurred. Thank
Unblurred?
you. I unblurred my
You unhazed.
I did not unhaze my brain, but my screen. So you could see that there, right there, is my bean of the week.
Yeah.
It is my one of my 3D printers. It's a FDM printer, which means that it has filament right there, and it comes down to that piece right there, and then that piece goes on that bar back and forth, and then also the bed goes forward and back, and that's how a print gets made. Obviously there's way more stuff into it than that, but you get the idea. It is a fairly inexpensive 3D printer. It's not the cheapest, but it's not the most expensive either.
Right.
And I've enjoyed the quality of it. I enjoy using it for the projects with my son, because he likes to make little models. I forgot to bring down the model we just made, but it was oh my gosh, my hair's horrible now. It was this guy from
nice.
Toy Story.
From Toy Story, yeah.
So it didn't come out as great as this, because this is actually a toy, and whatnot, but it's not the picture of the 3D print. But it still turned out really great. He was very happy with it. I print it, and then he paints it.
Nice.
And that's what we do. Also, I did this for him as well. I printed a wand.
Yep, I see.
And this actually got printed into 3 pieces. And there's like, you can't really see it, but there's a screw piece that goes in between this piece and this piece.
Right. So
it threads on. Yeah. Shaft, and then it threads in to this other piece. Cool. And what I'm going to do is, put a little wood filler in here, and also probably wood glue, because this is wood filament.
I was going to ask that. Yeah.
This is actually wood filament. So I'm going to, after I use the wood glue and filler, I'm going to sand it down one more time. And then I'm just going to use polyurethane on this piece. So I was pretty happy with it. It's not as big as my wand, as you can tell here. So it's, a lot shorter, but it's still pretty neat. I might, if you're into 3D modeling, like I am, I might actually mess around with this model and extend it a little bit to be more of a normal size wand. That is
right.
So
I have questions now. Okay. Brief ones. So what are you using to model that? Are you using the what is it, Ultima Curator program, or?
So that's what I use to slice it.
Okay.
Yeah, I use Ultima.
Same.
Yeah, I think
same. Because I've done some more. I have a 3D printer as well.
Ultimaker Cura.
That's what it is. Ultimaker Cura.
But
Yeah.
if you want to modify any models, I just use Blender. Blender is a free program. It's a little much for this.
Overkill. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not hard to learn.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So my last
yeah.
question is, how long did that wand take for those
You know
pieces?
what? I was stoked. It took like, I want to say 6 hours.
That's it?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No
No
way.
joke. This piece right
Wow. Okay.
here, this I had to reprint it because I got a little crazy with this tip.
Mm-hmm.
And I also I did some cross fill.
Right.
So it was brittle at the tip, and I
Mm.
broke it. So I took away most of the cross fill. It was like 80%. So
Yeah.
pretty much
Yeah.
almost a solid piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I printed just this piece, and it was, I believe, an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes for this piece.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, but these four, when I printed it all at once, it was a little over 4 hours.
Okay.
So that's why I said 6 hours, because I had to reprint one.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. That's always my thing. Like, what quality do I do? Do I do like fine and then it takes like 6 days? Do I do draft and all that? So
yeah. Well, that's another thing is with this wood filament,
Mm-hmm.
it did not stick at all to the build plate. You have to mess around with this stuff.
Yes.
If it's not sticking, it might not be your build plate's not level. It might be the level height.
Yes.
And I've noticed that with this wood filament. And like, I have a cheap plastic white PLA.
Yeah.
That has to be around 15.15 millimeters. But I had this black PLA, and that I could have a 0.08 millimeter line height.
Nice.
And it would stick.
Nice.
And it came out beautifully. So I actually want to get some more of that PLA, but
there's so much to it. We could go off on a tangent.
So much.
I mean,
so much.
Your temperature of your build plates and all that.
Oh yeah,
all that stuff.
I mean, that's another thing is this this stuff is only like at a 50 Celsius, not 50 Celsius. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
It's 50. I don't know if it's Celsius, or that seems pretty hot. I'm guessing it's Fahrenheit. Maybe it is 50. I don't know.
50 Celsius? Yeah, it could be.
You think so?
50 Celsius is something like 150, 165 Fahrenheit.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. If it's Celsius, it's Celsius.
Sorry, I live in America. The rest of the world's groaning right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But man, speaking of hot stuff, right? My bean of the week is a grill.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So last year we put on a nice porch onto our house, like a nice deck type thing, and I had this cheapo grill that was like your $50 yard sale special, and I needed an upgrade. So what I did, the one that you're seeing in chat right now, is the closest like Lowe's equivalent, Home Depot Lowe's equivalent that I could find, and it's like the charcoal and gas ones in case I get fancy.
Okay.
So that I can experiment and play around with both. So it's ordered, it's arrived, and it needs put together. So yeah.
Does it have a smoker area? Am I seeing it?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. It's like it's a little like cylinder part, and it like has a lid hatch thing that like goes off and like flips open. That's what mine is. Now, am I a professional? No. So I need to figure this out. But it's nice. It's similar to the one that's in the picture there on the Amazon link, and that it's like stainless, but it's kind of, hopefully it'll last. You know, that's
Nice.
the whole goal. It's about time I upgraded, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see.
Neat.
We'll see. We'll fly out. We'll have a cookout. So.
All right.
But that's all I had. We had Bixby and barbecue. Bixby and barbecue. There we go.
Oh boy.
Bixby,
you'll be saying Bixby all the time.
I know. Bixby barbecue and build plates.
Oh,
look at that.
Nice.
So, but yeah, on that
Alrighty.
note, that's all I have. If anybody wants to reach out on Bixby, or if there's another voice assistant out there that we haven't touched, let us know. We might not do a whole show on it, but maybe we'll dig into it. I can be reached at KJ Evans 2787. And Will, you want to jump into?
And I can be reached at WRONGHOLT on Twitter. Or Perfect. Like Kevin said before, you can always message us on other on any of these platforms we're streaming on.
Yep.
And leave a message also on the videos below on YouTube and other places. And we'll get them. So thank you, everyone. And we'll see you next time.
Yep. Take care, everybody.